Hi everybody, it's Arbitrage Junkie back again with another video. If you're catching me on Instagram, you can also find me on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can find me on Instagram. Both, I believe, are just Arbitrage Junkie. Please give me a follow on both or subscribe on YouTube. So today I wanted to walk through kind of my daily process. I had a question about that and thought it was worth doing a video of kind of what do I do every day when it comes to Amazon FBA. So every day when I wake up, I generally wake up pretty early. One of the first things I check, well, I actually wake up, check the app, and I check what were my sales yesterday, what are my sales so far today, and then I just usually do a quick scroll through of like my current inventory standings that are active, listings that are active. So then the next thing that I do once I like get up and go to my laptop, I go and the first thing I check is I go to performance, account health, and that's the screen that you're seeing right here. So you can see on this screen, you can see all of your violations or complaints that you have. The reason I go here first is because, from my understanding, this is the number one way that you could possibly get suspended. So it's really, really important that you keep track of these. So fortunately, I have a total of 2 right now. The max I've ever had is 5 at one given point. Once you get one of these, you've got to make sure you take care of it. Taking care of it could be fighting it, or I've also found that if you just delete the listing, remove the inventory from Amazon, Amazon will, or the violation usually goes away in about 3 or 4 months. So I've had that happen on like 7 or 8 violations. So you just really have to make sure that you're staying on top of this, not getting a lot of new account health violations, and that the ones that you had are expiring. Make sure while you're sourcing also that you use, I think I use Scan Unlimited as the extension to really check if a brand is filing complaints with Amazon, so that you're proactive and don't get account health violations in the future. So this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, but I just check this every single morning, first thing, to make sure that I'm still in a good place. Second thing I check is my feedback. So this is something else that's really important to keep up. I'm not sure how it impacts selling on Amazon, but I'm pretty sure that it probably improves better feedback, improves your ability to get the buy box even at a higher price. Sometimes I think Amazon will give the buyback box to somebody who has better feedback, even if they have a higher price in some instances. And then 2, it just makes you look like a better seller to the customer. So that's great if you have a higher feedback rating. I check this every single day. I love that it's on the app now. I check this actually probably too many times a day. So as you can see, across the last 90 days, I mean, I think it's actually like 180 days, I've had pretty solid feedback, 100% in the positive. And then lifetime, though, I have had 4 or 5 total that are below, that are not in the 4 or 5 star range, neutral or negative. So one thing that I've done recently to improve this, or over the last 180 days, is just make sure any negative feedback that you fight it. So one of the primary ways that I use to fight negative feedback is it's actually a violation of Amazon's policies for a customer to give seller feedback that is product related. Most of the time you get negative feedback. It's a misunderstanding from the customer that's posting, and they're actually posting product feedback, not seller feedback. So that's usually, I just drop down, challenge it from Amazon. Even if the bot says no, then you go in, you create a ticket, and you just tell you, I usually just copy and paste from the Amazon verbiage of that bullet that says like, this is a product review, not a seller review, and it's in violation of Amazon's listings. And it's worked just about every single time. Well, actually, I guess every single time in the last 180 or so days to get that negative feedback removed. Especially since as a 100% FBA seller, there really aren't a lot of reasons for a customer to give me negative seller feedback, since Amazon's actually managing most of the my customer related issues. The next thing I go and I check is my stranded inventory. So I like to check to make sure I don't have a lot of new stranded inventory. And the way you do this is you just go to the manage inventory, manage, usually I go to manage FBA inventory, and then I go to check stranded inventory. I'm 100% FBA, so I don't really care about those merge fulfilled orders. So I have some random stuff that, like, this listing is something I got rid of. And it just has not fallen off for like 6 months, so I'm not sure. I have some random stuff on here, but usually I'm going on here to monitor new things that are popping up. I will say I get a lot of these inventory error things that recently that I think is a glitch, that when you have inbound inventory coming in, Amazon will check and there's like a error that it comes up as an inventory error before it actually goes into inventory. But anyways, I check this to make sure there's nothing new that's like a low price or high price violation or something that would prevent my listing from selling. So I want to make sure that all listings are available at all times. So then the next thing I do every single day, and I will say this is like new in the last 2 months, thanks to a recommendation from at Buy Low Sell Hines on Instagram. I've started using Inventory Lab a lot more. So the first thing I go to is I go to Inventory Lab. This is inventorylab.com. This is a great way to track your inventory and your like sales in a like more official financial format. I was using just a scrappy Excel sheet before. I found this a lot more organized for me. So one of the first things I do is I go and I check how much total inventory do I have, just to keep track of it. So I love seeing this because it's just a quick snapshot of how much inventory I have. So you can see I currently have $39,322 worth of cost inventory that's sitting at the Amazon warehouses, and then $17,254 that's in transit, for a total of almost $57,000 in inventory. So that's great to see. You can see it by ASIN, and the way you get here on the Inventory Lab sheet is you go to reports and then you go to inventory valuation. Another great thing to access within Inventory Lab is then you go inventory FBA and it pulls up a screen like this. And you can see here that this pulls up your total in-stock buy cost. So this is that $39,000 number again. But you can also see your total in-stock sales value based on how your listings are priced currently. So, so this is I just like to monitor this to understand, you know, how many sales could I do based on my current FBA in-stock inventory. It's always interesting to look at this after I've done like repricing work or change my mins and maxes or something like that, to understand in aggregate what has that done to my sales potential. Those are two things that I just check. I literally just check this number, check the total inventory number, the in-transit number, and then go on with my day. It takes 2 seconds. Then another thing that I check is, well, this isn't a daily. I just love this sheet, so I wanted to bring it to your attention. There's a profit and loss sheet on Inventory Lab that you can go to. You can do a custom range, or you can do any month, and go to any date range to find out, you know, what's your profit and loss based on the data that you've put into Inventory Lab. So I will say this is missing a lot of my outside expenses that I don't load into Inventory Lab. But when it comes to everything that is directly related to the buying and the selling of my goods, this tracks everything. So you can really see like this is November, but the sales, the refunds, the reimbursements, and then it also, because I input all of my costs, you can see cost of goods sold. So like here you can see I sold $55,000 in the month of November so far. $24,000 came out because of my cost of goods. And then I also have selling and FBA transaction fees for almost a total of $18,000. And then when all is, and then also inventory storage fees, and then you can see the inbound shipping fees for everything that I'm stocking for December, quite a lot. So for a total net profit in the month of $7,500. I will say I think this is overstated in that it's not including the other expenses like what I pay for packing paper, bubble wrap, boxes, that kind of stuff. But it's understated based on, like, I've had a lot of inbound shipping fees for the month of November that would actually apply to the month of December and beyond because of everything I'm putting in. So this is a really interesting sheet. I think it's going to be great for taxes because it basically includes everything in a quick P&L snapshot. So then the next thing that I usually look at is then I'll go on and I'll look at my online arbitrage sourcing for the day. So I use sourcemogul.com, and I will tell you, so SourceMogul updated their UI a little bit. There's a beta version up here. I'm a little bit of a late adopter, so I haven't started using the new version at all yet. I'm just using the old version. But it's fine. They kept that out there, so I don't really care. There's not a big difference. But anyway, so I go on SourceMogul. I go to my wish list. They eliminated the buy list, so the wish list is just the buy list now. And I just go to all the product that I've already sourced. You can see, so usually, just as a reminder, my filters when I am sourcing are 60% ROI. I do, depending on the sale, I do between 50 and 70% ROI. I make sure that my profit's going to be at least $5. And then depending on the category that I'm sourcing, I usually use 100,000 sales rank or top 1% as my filters. This has worked pretty well for me. But I think everybody has different things that they like to apply there, but that's just what I apply. Anyways, depending on the day, I either just go through the list of stuff that I have on my wish list. I will say I have probably like 250 items on my wish list right now. I don't buy all of those every day, and a lot of those I'd say probably 2/3 of those are just things that I'm monitoring for when the brand goes back in stock on them, and they're currently out of stock. So a lot of them are monitored. A lot of them are just things that I bought in the past, but maybe I'm already in stock, but I just it's just a reminder to keep looking at that every couple of days, and go from there. So I think, and then some days I'll come in and I just look at like my top brands. There's probably 2 to 3 brands that I buy every day. And then I'd say 5 to 8 brands that I buy like once a week to once a month. And then throughout the week, and I'd say I end up doing this probably like twice a week, where I search through my favorite brands and search for more results. So that's where you go to search, and then you can see the status, and you can just search brands, or you can search entire categories. Both have worked out for me. I think searching entire categories is great to find new brands that maybe you weren't buying from before. But sometimes I find it a little bit annoying because there are some of the brands on SourceMogul actually just, I think like for example, one's called like Deals Plus or something, and I think it just directs you to like Target.com or Walmart.com, and so it's just annoying because usually the things are out of stock or not at the same price or something like that. So a lot of times I focus just on the brands unless I'm trying to expand my horizons a little bit. So that's my sourcing, and usually I'll just go in here, spend like 15 minutes, put together a couple buys in the morning, and then a couple buys late at night, and go from there. The one thing when you're putting together buys, I want to remind everybody, I highly recommend you use cashbackmonitor.com instead of just using like Rakuten or something like that, because there are a lot of different cashback sites available out there, and they're all offering different percentages depending on the site, depending on the day. And so if you're only using one, you're not getting the best percent out there. So I like to use Top Cashback, or sorry, not Top Cashback. That's one of the sites that I use to get the money back. But I like to use Cashback Monitor because you can search the brand and it'll tell you the best cashback site. So you can see here you have like for Kohl's, Rebates Me, Top Cashback, Giving Assistant, all these options. Rakuten actually isn't even up there. So highly recommend you use this to get the highest percent. I've gotten thousands of dollars cash back from these sites this year alone. So it's a great source of income here. The next thing I go to is I check my credit cards. So I just check these every day just to check through where I'm standing, what I'm paying off, all that stuff. I have quite a few credit cards that I use. Just like I've actually gotten a lot of the retailer credit cards of the top retailers that I use to buy inventory on, so that I'm getting 5% cash back instead of like 1.5% cash back. Highly recommend you use cashback cards. This is another great source of just incremental income. As you grow your business, you're going to be spending a lot of money on inventory, and this is just a great way. Cashback rewards are a great way to get extra money in your bank account to grow your business. So then the last thing I was going to share with you is I also like to once daily I go to or actually not once daily, this is like weekly, I go to check my inactive listings. So the way you do that is you go to inventory, manage FBA inventory, and then you can check out you click on inactive at the top, and it takes you to your inactive listings. I usually check, so you can see these were out of stock like 10 minutes ago, so I just sold out. If you go back to like the earliest listing, so this is like in the other order, you can go back and actually just delete out the listings that are like 2-3 months old. This is a great way to keep your IPI score higher. The filter I've been using is if it's 2 months or older, I just delete it out of my inventory. If it's within 1 month, there could be returns that come back. So I have not been in the process of deleting that out of my inventory. The one thing to do, just make sure you click fulfillment and fulfilled by Amazon, because merchant fulfilled won't impact your IPI. So that doesn't matter as much. Couple other things I don't have pulled up here to share, but just to share in general, once a week I use the Jungle Scout Chrome extension to click the request review button, or I actually have my brother do it for me, and I pay him a little bit to do that. This way I'm making sure that, I think the customer gets a default like, hey, thanks for buying this. You can give seller and product feedback here, but this is just a follow-up request review. So I do that once a week. So I'm requesting reviews on all of those to get as much feedback as I can. And then also, this is just the stuff that I'm doing on my laptop. I would say a couple times a week, I'm also going through a process of packing up inventory to ship out to Amazon FBA. So this is mainly my retail arbitrage finds, since I'm shipping my online arbitrage to my brother and my friend, and they're actually packing and processing all that for me. And then usually once a day I like take a run to some retail store, usually a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls, and spend like $300-400 on retail arbitrage finds to then keep that side of the business going. So yeah, thanks for listening, and hope I provided some value. And again, follow me on Instagram, YouTube, at Arbitrage Junkie. Thank you.